Greetings, clobberers and clobberanimos and clobs to be, and all clobs in between. And hey, welcome to Monday Night Moxie Comics Talk on Clobberin Times, ISLU number. Well, on YouTube, 419, overall 1,119. My good, and we're ready for another. Again, so we are still in Jack Kirby month. Two more Kirby shows to go. This one and a to be determined topic of Kirby Wednesday night. So, welcome everyone. Good to see you. Clobby here coming at you, as always, from the Baxter Building basement, which is secretly located on the Isle of Misfit Toys and solely owned and operated by the Kirby Commandos, over which I proudly preside as Supreme Commandant and Absolute Ruler. If that doesn't sound familiar to you, that's because that's how I used to open up just about every show on Blog Talk Radio, and I just got away from it on YouTube, but because it sounds ridiculous and silly and dumb. Well, actually, that's a good reason for me to stick with it, isn't it? I mean, because I'm ridiculous and silly and dumb. Anyway, but it's good to have you here tonight, my friends. Well, that was more like a radio show. A stream is like a radio show as well. You have the visuals and stuff. Just, I don't know what it is. I guess I abandoned it, but that's how I used to open up all the show always, and because we are the Kirby Commandos around here. Oh my goodness! But anyway, I cannot thank you all enough who joined us yesterday for our Jack Kirby birthday celebration, and of course, I cannot thank the beautiful, lovely, wonderful Purple Valkyrie for joining me. I just had a marvelous time hanging out with Purple, celebrating the 105th birthday of the King of Comics. Talking some little bit of Jack smack there for a couple hours, and it was a lot of fun. That's the thing about Jack. I mean, I don't know if there's anyone who's ever any kind of comic book creator or artist ever that you can fill up so much conversation time because there's so many things to talk about. It's just outrageous. I mean, you can never cover it all, ever. I'll start looking at the chat in a second here. Just a couple of show notes again, but first I wanted to say that thank you, Purple Valkyrie. Thank you all for joining us and celebrating Jack's birthday. I don't know anyone else who does it. I'm sure someone does. I mean, other than people like putting up memes and stuff and talking about it. I don't know if anyone who does any kind of showtime about the Kirby month, but I always have, always will, and I love it. Yeah, I'm not big. Yeah, hooray me! I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I think more people should. Man, I don't think more people will, though. But I will. And I know my friends here will and do respect that. So, so again, thank you for the great Purple Valkyrie for that. Show notes. Like I said, Wednesday night, I'm not exactly sure what we'll do for our final Jack Kirby show of Kirby month. I'll probably maybe an open Kirby talk thing. I'm not sure. Probably, I don't know. I'll see what we'll do, but it will definitely talking about the King. And then, of course, Thursday night we'll start a new month on the Clubhouse with Raquel and Mark, and we will kick off September, which in a sense it's going to be. We have Star Trek every week. September is going to be Star Trek month because, of course, it's Star Trek month. A week from Thursday will be the 8th, and the 8th, the Clubhouse on the 8th will be a big Star Trek special celebrating real Star Trek and the love of real Star Trek. And every Clubhouse show that year, that in September, will be about Star Trek. In addition to our, of course, Saturday Night Star Trek, which in this case, this coming Saturday night, we have 4 more episodes into Deep Space Nine Season 2. Had a wonderful time hanging out Saturday night with all of you friends. Talking Deep Space Nine on Saturday Night Star Trek with my wonderful first officer, and I cannot wait to do it again next Saturday night. 4 more episodes, and I'm looking forward to that. And as I said, in addition, again, all 4 Thursdays of September, we will, including this Thursday, and of course the following week we'll have the big Star Trek birthday celebration. It'll be September 8th, the birthday of Star Trek, Real Trek, of course, and then. So all 4 Trek. It'll be we had Kirby month this month. It's Trek month in September, always. So, and then of course, and then you have Saturday Night Star Trek. And then of course, had a great time on Sunday night. Geekery with the great Mark D with a C. Please go to his channel and check it out. Mark, you're there. Put your link in there in case anyone's anyone out there has not subscribed. Please go subscribe to his channel. And Sunday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, we have a great time on that one. So, some shout outs here. Let's see who we have with us tonight. Let me pull my chat all the way back. J-Man Buddy, what's up, dude? It's good to see you. The great J-Man is here. All right, bro. Great channel. Great friend of the channel. In September, yeah, by the way, that's Thursday nights. We'll be tracking nothing. Let's see the comic stuff will not be affected, although there will be one Monday in September that will be about Star Trek comics, I've decided. But the first week of September, I think we've got one planned, a comic book review with J-Man, if I remember right, next week, buddy. But we can, or whatever's good for you, man. I might do a 2-thing show. We would do an early review show with you, and then do like I did last time, and then do a later show. So you and I can review that DC Comics Presents book. Also with us tonight is Apollomies, Minion, and Pepperoni. Yes, I can't do it the way Raquel does, but love you, Apollomy. It is good to see you, my dear. Hope you are doing well and keeping both hands on the wheel, being safe. Buddies, daddies, Steve Metro. Yo, bro. Again, just still reeling from that all too short but great time spent with you, hanging out with you, and meeting the wonderful Maddie on Saturday. That you know here in your old hometown, and it was great to hang out with you again, buddy. Been too long. The master of wrenching, Chris Persia. Chris, man, thanks again for all those great pictures you make for the show. I'm humbled by them, sir. They're brilliant. And you just do extraordinary work. Thank you, buddy. I cannot thank you enough, man. Thanks. But I try to thank you enough, but I know I can't. Larry. Good to see you, Larry. Oh, and a big thanks to Purple Valkyrie, not only for co-hosting with me yesterday, but apparently she joined the channel. So thank you, Purple Valkyrie. Shout out to you for joining. Let's see here. D-Bud Buddy, what is up, man of iron? It's good to see you there, brother. Always a pleasure, man. Thanks for being here. Phantom Outsider, what's up, Bang T? Mark D, the chief engineer's here. Mark D with AC. What's up, duder? Let's see here. See. Captain Time Lord Spock. The Time Police are here. Good to see you, man. Spocky, it's always a pleasure. Man, one of these days when you got to talk some comics, because I know you like some comics of the 80s and some independent comics of the 80s. Maybe I'll do a Mark C. Comics Talk special one night. And again, I know our time, and I don't mean time travel, but our time zones are highly incompatible. But if you one night come on and we'll talk about because we've mentioned it for a while. Come on and talk some comics with me. Cockney, I would appreciate that. J.J. Lewis. What's up, my friend? Good to see you, buddy. Wagner. I can't say it like Raquel, but Wagner. Let's see. Minimus is here. Claude is here. Claude Minimus. Well, I still appreciate you there, Chris. And those are the holos so far. Anyone else who pops in, I will definitely endeavor to acknowledge them accordingly. So tonight, at least for of course. Oh well, hey, Cockney, cool stuff, man. Well, I know because I know you. We've never got a chance to have a real conversation about some of those 80s independent comics, so that would be fun. Let's see here. Okay, tonight on our Kirby month segment. Again, we usually mostly just the first half hour. I mean the first hour will be Kirby, our Kirby's and then our second hour of the show we'll just do some open lines and I'll just talk to you guys any questions you might have and stuff. We'll just hang out like an open show. It's not something that would requires a long bit of coverage, but tonight's show I call even though it's Monday night, it's Saturday morning Kirby. And for a brief time, again, please forgive my timeline because I'm not sure I've checked into it lately, but I know Jack Kirby once did some work for a company called Ruby Spears. As you know, Ruby Spears was an animation company that made a lot of cartoons. And Jack Kirby was hired to do some design work for them and to work on some cartoons for them. And well, he came up with Demon Dogs, indeed. Yes, Lords of Light. The one that he did participate on and that got made was, of course, called Thundar the Barbarian. And I personally love me some Thundar. I love that show. I remember when it was coming on. I mean, I even like that. Yeah, there was Ruby Spears did a lot of stuff. There's a pretty good Superman cartoon in the late 80s. Well, there were some good things about that cartoon, sure. But Kirby was called in to do some work and some concept work for, well, to create a bunch of different concepts and ideas and, things that were, J-Man, I just got the Kirby. I got the Blu-ray myself as well. I got the, just last year. In fact, I got it running on my TV next to me now, just with the sound off, just looking at it. It's so cool. It's a really good copy too. I've got the Blu-ray Thundar. I love this show so much when it came on, like, was it 1980? I, of course, recorded them, I thought I'd recorded them. I don't know what I mean. I used to record it when I would go into work. I think they were rerunning it even when I was working in the comic shop in Southland Comics. Louise X Sparrow, my dear, lovely to see you. Thank you for popping in. Oh, okay, played on the Cartoon Network over there. Good, there you go. It was an ABC cartoon here. Indeed, Chris Persia. Some asteroid or whatever hurled between the Earth and the Moon in 1994 and made a mess. So, obviously, a couple of the guys at Ruby Spears, along with Steve Gerber, I think Alex Toth and a few people all worked on the cartoon. And Kirby was brought in to do some, help out with it and stuff and work on it. And again, without going into too many details about it, because there's a lot of write-ups, over the years and there's documentaries. But one thing about it is that even if Kirby didn't out and out create it, he kind of did, though. Because let's just be honest, and I love it, by the way, but let's just be honest here. Kirby is, Thundar is Commandy. It's not the exact same, but the show borrows almost most of its concepts and things from Commandy. Kirby's great mid-70s creation for DC. So much of it. I mean, not all of it. Naturally, there's some differences, but Chris Persia. There was no meteor. It was Stan Lee's ego. Yep, there you go. Obviously, there were many differences between Commandy and Thundar, but it's just so obvious. I mean, and they took so much of. I mean, they changed the characters themselves. Thundar and Commandy are not too much alike, and he didn't have. He had some friends, but he didn't have the concept. Like, he didn't have Chewie and Leia with him with his lightsaber. I think there was definitely some Star Wars influence there. What do you think? Yeah. Cloud, that's a matter of opinion. If that comet had shifted the moon, all of this woke stuff never would have happened. Well, that's a good point there, Phantom Outsider. So, my old buddy Ross Pearsall, who about a year or so ago on the Global Geek Gang, we did a show about his marvelous work on covers, on phony covers, making faux covers, so of team ups that we wish would happen. Did this cover Commandy and Thundar because they are so different. It's so similar. And then I found this one. I don't know who did this mashup. Commandy, Last Boy on Earth, Cavalcade Comments. There you go. And Thundar the Barbarian. I mean, just a perfect match, right? Pure Kirbiness. Thunder was proof that even something that didn't start out as Kirby could just be Kirby. I mean, obviously, look, Alex talked of a lot of the designs for the animation, and also, of course, Steve Gerber did, part of the story, but I mean, or a lot of the scripting and stuff. As Martin Pasco, I think, worked on it, if I remember right, and a couple of other comic people. But this shows pure Kirby. It really is. And you know what? If you can't have a Commandy cartoon, which they did do one later, but last year, I'm talking about, and he was on Batman Brave and the Bold, but as far as a series, at least you got Thundar, and not too many episodes. What was it, 21, did you say there, Chris? But still. Eric K., what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. So, 21. Wow, only 21 episodes. That sucks. Too good for television. Too good for Saturday morning television. But like I said, Kirby, of course, did a lot of art, concept art for it. This cartoon was about as Kirby as it gets, man. That's right, Rich Buckler. That's true. I was looking in the credits there. J.D. Lewis. A few other people, too. Ariel, Ookla, ride! I like what he said. Like he said, demon dogs, lords of light. Which is something else Kirby worked on, Lords of Light. And it's funny, this was, again, it was like 80 when they produced it, 80, 81 when it was airing. And there was I was watching, I think it was the first episode when they went into Manhattan under the underground or whatever, and they saw a poster for Jaws 9. Thunder didn't know what a movie was. And by the way, there will be more extensive of Thundar in the not too distant future, and I will have a team up with a certain friend of mine from another channel, far superior to my own, but a dear friend channel, that we will be talking about some Thundar, the cartoon of itself, maybe reviewing the cartoon. But this is, I'm talking right now, just talking about Kirby's, a bit of Kirby's involvement in it and his work creating things for Ruby Spears and such. But they were down in the Manhattan subway, and oh my goodness, they had a Jaws 9 poster. They had there was a Revenge of the Jedi poster, if I remember right. Yeah, that's what it was. Crazy stuff. But it was just. And Masada says both Ruby and Spears died in 2020. Ruby at age 87 on August 28th. Wow, 2 years ago. Natural causes, and Spears November 6th. Oh, wow. I did not know that. I did not know that, Phantom Outsider. That's a damn shame, man. Hey, Classic Comics, welcome. And well, thank you for the $5 super chat. You're too kind, my friend. There you go. Have you seen this BS casting rumor for the FF movie? Seth Rogen as Ben Grimm. Oh, God, no. There's all kind of rumors. So rumors are rumors, but I'll tell you this, Classic Comics, in this day and age, we've already seen that idiot have complete control over the Green Hornet. So I would not put it past them. And they may as well, that's the equivalent of them getting on the telephone and saying, hey, Clobby, would you please do us the favor of not going to watch our movie? And I were to say, and we had Clobby, we'll give you $1,000 if you don't go see our movie. I said, well, I'll take it. Dave Rayborn, what's up, bud? So that's if they said, hey, here's $1,000, don't go see our movie. I said, okay, that's fair enough. I don't need to see it that bad. Even if people tell me it's good, I'll say I'll watch it later. But I'll never watch it. Oh no, we want you to never watch it. Well, that's going to cost you $10,000. So they give me the $10,000 and I never watch the movie. Let's say that was going to happen. That's the equivalent. Casting Seth Rogen is the same. Was the same thing. If they really as Ben Grimm, if they cast Seth Rogen as Ben Grimm, you couldn't force me to watch that. There's nothing that could happen. Well, okay, Christina Hendricks could probably get me to watch it, but and maybe a couple other really hot redheads, or even some blondes. Yes, I'm coming to think of some brunettes. A few, okay, a select few women could probably make me do it. Failing that, yes, of course, it stands to reason if Elon Musk gave me $1 billion to watch it, yeah. But extreme circumstances aside, I would never watch that piece of shit. If you just said, look, we're putting Seth Rogen in there, but we're not going to give you all these women, and we're not going to give you $1 billion, and that's that, I'll say, well, that's fine. I'll never watch this piece of trash. I think he's a low-life scumbag. I don't think he's... I mean, look, he did the voice of the movie called Paul, and I like the movie Paul. I'll probably watch it again one day. I don't know. But him playing Ben Grimm, and by the way, that's very... I know it's a rumor, but that's very believable. That's how... In Hollywood, that's a very... It could be someone just making it up, but it's... I mean, that is this kind of thing that is very believable that they would do. Hi, I'm Seth Rogen. Oh, wow, I got an orange dog. Oh, no, okay, remember Clobberin inside? Yeah, he'd be making stupid stoner jokes. Get it? Stone rocks. Ugh. Sid East Warren, hello there. So, look, that's very Hollywood thing to do. Even the Clockwork Orange way wouldn't work on me, D-Bud. Not going to happen. If they had Brain one, okay, they'd have kept Chickless. Ben Grimm, and picture Ben Grimm, he was really good as Ben in the Fox movies, even with the terrible costume, Chickless motion capture during the voice. Chickless. I'm one of the few out there that wasn't thrilled. I mean, Chickless is a great actor. Love the guy. But the problem with him is he did not look like Ben Grimm's supposed to look before he turns into the Thing. He was kind of I mean, look, I'm not throwing stones. I've seen, God knows, but not that he's he's just like a frumpy middle-aged old man turning into the Thing. I get it because it's a movie, but that's not what Ben Grimm looked like before he turned into the freaking Thing. Ben Grimm was a big old dude. You know that guy that plays Reacher? That guy's great. Now, I may not be right as an actor for the voice of Ben, but the body type of Ben, that's the kind of guy Ben was. Big dude. A big, muscle-bound dude, stuff like that. I mean, it was, nothing's wrong with frumpy old age men. David Raymond happened to be the worst one of them, but I don't think I should play Ben Grimm either. Nothing's wrong with it. It's just not a good casting. That is us, buddy. That's us. But that would be like if someone said, hey, Dave or Mike, how about playing Superman? We'd both look at ourselves and laugh, go, yeah, I don't think I need to be playing Superman. Love you right back there, bro. Good to see you, cuz. That's right. Ben Grimm didn't have a dad bod. I agree on size, but Chickasaw voice nailed. Chickasaw? Who dat? So, yeah, anyway, that's crap. Anyway, where we're okay, Thundar. The Barbarian, indeed. This cartoon should have lasted at least 60-something episodes. Minimum. How great would that have been if this thing had gotten its due? Like so many other... Because at that time, let me tell you, when Thundar was on, the only other cartoon I kind of liked was the NBC Flash Gordon cartoon. And even it wasn't as good as the pilot movie they made of that. But that was pretty good. But most cartoons at that point were getting kind of crappy in 1980, 81, in my opinion. So I don't know. I think maybe it was time to I don't know, make some more good stuff. You know, this one should have lasted a little bit longer because after Thunder, I remember I just didn't watch it, and it was an ABC Saturday morning cartoon. I didn't watch any of that. A lot of cartoons were going to syndication, but there were still some Saturday morning cartoons out there. Thunder was the last cartoon I gave a crap about on network TV, probably, if I'm remembering correctly, and I think I am, which is rare for me. Thunder was the last time I gave a shit about a cartoon on network television. And that's 1980s, 80, 81. It was made in 80, but I think they were rerunning it for a while there. The all 21 episodes. You know, they used to rerun episodes over and over again. So it was just, you know, you guys just keep running the same old shite. We need more. Classic comics. I'm gonna tell you something, dude. There's nobody, and I don't know how old you were when this came out, but I was, when Thunder came out, I was 15, 16, right up in there. Oh yeah, that's true. Sid Eastbourne, that's a good point. I still love Super Friends and Superpower, so that's one. Thank you. Oh yes, and another one. I loved Ralph Bakshi's Mighty Mouse cartoon, and I kind of like the Ruby Spears Superman cartoon. So there were a few things, but not much. But the one I was excited about the most was probably Thunder. I did love that Mighty Mouse cartoon. The Ralph Bakshi one, that was fantastic. And then, of course, the Ruby Spears Superman cartoon, there was a little bit too much John Byrne drivel in it, but it had Gil Kane designs. They used the Superman theme music and that little segment at the end with the, young Clark Kent adventure thing that they were doing, like this, the family album bit. I really enjoyed that. So overall, I love a lot of the look and feel of the Ruby Spears Superman cartoon. But still, it wasn't quite. I don't know. Thunder was the last time I was like, man, that felt like. Yeah, J-Man, that Ruby Spears cartoon, Superman cartoon has good stuff in it. Some Byrne drivel in it, but not too much, and it was fun. I remember that was a CBS cartoon, Ruby Spears Superman, and that damn thing was always getting preempted. I don't even know if we got most of the episodes here. I think we got them, but yeah, I don't know. And yes, I had my comic shop when that came on, the Ruby Spears. It's funny. I was running a shop when Thunder came on. Then I was running my own shop when Ruby Spears came on. I said that for Eric because I've not thrown Eric that bone for a while there. So I thought he would appreciate that. Anyway. What the hell? I'm waiting for it to erupt. Eric's going to go after me. I know he's about ready to stomp on me. But could you imagine, though, if Thunder had just lasted a good bit longer and Ruby Spears had gotten off their keisters and picked up at least one, but maybe one or two of these weird Kirby concepts, I know they're a little out there, but that he was doing for them. Could you imagine how crazy that would have been? I mean, it would have been crazy good. I mean, I don't know. We'd have at least two or three other cartoons that, again, that would have been, that we probably would have been thinking back on, wow, that was just, oh, and that was just crazy stuff. I mean, would it match Thunder? I don't know. But I guess because Thunder didn't do well, and they had a lot of other problems that over there then as well at the Rube Spears. So, but at least we got that. At least we got that, and we got a Blu-ray of it. So, yeah. Did you know Stanley Ralph Ross was Perry White in Ruby Spears Superman, in Ruby Superman cartoon, says Phantom. No, I didn't realize. Stanley Ralph, really? He did a voice? Wasn't he like a guy that worked on Batman TV show? Imagine if Kirby got to work on Star Wars cartoons that were more in line with the movies, it says Sid Eastwarren. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All over it. All over it. And you know what? They did 3 figures of Thunder way back in the late 90s or early aughts or whatever. I wish I'd have got Ariel and Nuclear. I'm so mad at myself. I got Thunder. I still have Thunder. I did get Thunder. No telling how expensive those damn other 2 figures are now. I don't know. I'm afraid to find out, but I'd like to have them. But what if they'd at least done a comic? Although, look, over the years, I've had people say stuff like, Thunder Nuclear. Cool. Oh, there you go, J-Man. I wish I had all 3. See, over the years, I've had some people say these scary words. Wow, I wish someone would do a Thunder movie. No, well, even I hate remakes anyway, but most adaptations are crap. So, I mean, look what happened to the Masters of the Universe movie. Even though I didn't care anyway. I mean, I wasn't a fan of that anyway, but I felt bad for fans. But some fans like it. I don't know. With the right people doing it, Thunder can be a great movie. Don't get me wrong. But too much time went on, and I was like, at least it did, it would have been nice, but at least it didn't get sullied. At least it didn't get somebody totally just ruining it and pissing all over it. That's something at least. But how about this? I wish Clobby would do a Thunder movie. That would work if I were in charge of a Thunder movie, dude. Yeah. Yep. And Chris Purchase says 81 was a busy year. Thunder was up against 2 Spider-Man cartoons, Spider-Man and also Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, as well as Shazam. For those of us in the Commonwealth, Danger. We had Danger Mouse on Nickelodeon here. A little bit slightly after that, Chris Purchase, and I love Danger Mouse. Huge fan of Danger, and I'm not even exaggerating. Minimus. I was let's just say a much more human-sized individual back then. In fact, I was almost what you would call, svelte or close to it. And I had Minimus. I got the big long sleeve shirt with a turtleneck thingy, even though it was like a t-shirt, but with a turtleneck type thingy. And I had Minimus a white shirt, airbrushed the DM on there for Danger Mouse. And I wore my Danger Mouse shirt everywhere. Boy, I love that show. Thunder figures, MOC, mock, mint. Are you kidding me? $200 in US. Well, at least I got Thunder. Holy crap, dude. You are shitting me. Thunder figures, MOC are about 200. Wow. Okay. Won't be touching those. Well, I needed to know. But anyway, thanks, J-Man. So yeah, we're never gonna get a movie, but we don't need one now. But So now that we're in 2022, we definitely don't need a movie. Could you imagine? Yes, mint on card, yeah. Thundar Funkos. Oh no! Never needed to know that, J-Man. Ugh. Boo hiss to Thundar Funkos. Even I would not want that. Thundar disgraced by Funkos. So Thundar is one of those things that I have a very small category of things that escaped remaking. In other words, there are a few things that I love that were not quite popular enough to be destroyed completely by Hollywood. I'll give you a few examples. Thundar's one of them so far, and probably never will be. John Carter, it got that one movie which I really liked, and it's not, unfortunately, fortunately it was at least made before modern Disney. Yes, it was made at the cusp of a big political shift at Disney. And if later modern Disney had made John Carter, it would have been horrible. And yes, I don't care what you say, I love that movie. It had some changes from the books, and the lead was, it was okay, but I maybe would have chosen a different one. But I loved John Carter, the movie. It had bad marketing. They purposely sabotaged it, but forget about that for a second. The movie was really good, and if it had been made 5 years later, it would have been horrible. And now it's just that even though it inspired so much, John Carter is not feasible, so they'll never do anything again, probably. So it will, even though it would be nice to see it, you can just read the books, and you should just read the Edgar Rice Burroughs books and read some of the Marvel comics and even, the comic adaptations, and watch the movie and be satisfied that it hasn't been destroyed beyond all imagination like Star Wars and Star Trek and Doctor Who and all that stuff. It hasn't had its corpse desecrated like those. Tarzan, another Rice Burroughs. I thought that 2016 Tarzan movie was okay. I thought it was actually pretty good. I mean, that's faults. That wouldn't be done today. I can't believe they even did it then. It was fairly decent. I mean, that's its faults. I mean, I like the guy playing Tarzan. Not sure why he had to wear long pants everywhere, but okay. But I thought it was okay. As a Tarzan fan, I thought it was fairly decent. Well, they're probably never going to try another Tarzan movie again that's anywhere close. Sean Carter Glasser. Although, if they do take another stab at Tarzan, it will be so nothing like. I mean, it'll be so far removed. It'll be less like Tarzan even than those Johnny Weissmuller movies, which are good movies, but they're not really on that Tarzan. I didn't watch the Disney Tarzan Cities, Warren. I mean, I'm sure it was okay. The cartoon, I don't think I ever watched that one. My kids maybe watched a lot of. They were just grown up enough at that point where I didn't have to sit through any more Disney cartoon movies, which I like some of the ones they did make me watch. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, but Tarzan shouldn't be wearing long pants. Dave's travels through time. Hey there. Let's say another one that has been lucky, like Thundar, to avoid remaking. Another property. Let's see. That would be Doc Savage. Excuse me. Doc Savage, fortunately, you had the 1975 or whatever George Powell movie, which made a lot of mistakes. But it's got Ron Ely as Doc Savage. Some of the casting of the Fabulous Five is very questionable. Some of the dialogue falls flat. It's got some really goofy shite in it. But it's still not. It's not an abomination to the character. DC did some shitty comics here and there after that. But for the most part, I don't think they're going to touch Doc Savage. He's probably going to be left alone. Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon have an outside shot to never be screwed with again. But you never know. They might be safe. Wagner says, Mark Evanier on his blog regarding Thundar, the ratings would have justified another season, but someone at Paramount decided they wanted cartoons based on Gary Marshall's hit primetime sitcoms. Yes. You mean like Gilligan's Planet? That's all. That's very true, Larry. So Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon have an outside chance, and Doc Savage, of, like Thundar, never being screwed with by modern Hollywood. Like I said, sometimes they'll do it like Doc Savage. The worst that's happened to him is some really crappy comics. Here's another one, The Shadow and The Shadow. I thought the Green Hornet would get away with it, but they let Seth Rogen do his trash. So it shows that no one is really safe, but I think some of these are safe. Doc Savage is safe. The Shadow might be safe. The Shadow just might be safe from ever being screwed around with by Hollywood. I'm not guaranteeing you anything. I'm guaranteeing you that Thundar is. Almost a guarantee that Thundar is safe. Yes, they had a Happy Days cartoon and whatever else, I believe. And Laverne and Shirley, yeah, more, yeah. They had a Mork and Mindy cartoon too, didn't they? Or did they? Yep. Now, hey, Chuck Lee, good to see you there. Welcome. Yeah, Phantom Outsider. Yeah, look at exactly. Even the Lone Ranger wasn't safe. I thought he would be safe. That we were far removed from him enough to be safe, and then they did that Johnny Depp bullshit movie. But so I'm not saying. I'm just saying there's some of these older pulp characters that might be safe, and Thundar also may be safe from Hollywood filth. It's just, look, that's speculation. I could end up being wrong on that. But I think he's even more obscure than those other ones. Let's face it, Thundar's obscure enough. Yeah, there's a Blu-ray, but. Gotcha, Steve. Be safe, man. Denise one says apparently it was a really crappy Shadow paperback novel recently, set in the modern day. Oh, my God. The Shadow set in the modern day? Classic. Nothing is safe from these people. No, nothing is. I'm just saying the odds are. Okay, let me put it this way, Classic. The odds are that something like Thundar won't get screwed with. I mean, it's a little bit too obscure. And Doc Savage, I'm just saying these are the ones that have a better chance of not being defiled anymore than like a Star Trek and like a Doctor Who and the Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. And other properties, other IPs that are being, just mutilated right now and having their corpses pissed on and set on fire and danced on by degenerates. Chances are they won't do it to the small fry. And I love Thundar, but let's face it, it's a small fry. So was Doc Savage. Like He-Man, exactly, Luis Sparrow. He-Man, it's too popular. It's too much. I guess what I'm saying is there's too much spotlight on these things. Unlike Thundar, which, we're here talking about it mainly because of Jack Kirby's involvement with it. There were 21 episodes. There's a nice Blu-ray of it. But Hollywood execs have got bigger fish to fry and screw up. If the characters are in public domain, then at least competing versions can be done. By the way, if you are a Shadow fan, I strongly urge you to go find a great YouTuber called Razor Fist. If you're not familiar with him, he's an extraordinary YouTuber and commentator. He's a huge fan of pulp stuff. You can go to his channel and he reads some of those old Shadow novels on his and reads the whole thing. Does like a really great reading of them. He's written a book. He loves pulps. Go find Razor Fist. Just go search him on YouTube. He's a cool dude, and he loves the Shadow and loves old pulp stuff, and he reads a lot of those old Gibson Shadow novels, and stuff like that on his channel. He's amazing. That's true, Gwagnar. I'm drawing too much attention to Thundar with the live stream. I better cut it out. There, Duke D-Bud. There you go. Yep. And like you say, Dynamite's done in the Shadow. Like I said, I didn't say these things wouldn't be done by comics. I just don't think there's going to be a Shadow movie anytime soon. I hope the Phantom is safe from movies. I like the Billy Zane Phantom movie. I don't know about you guys, but I liked it. By Simon Windsor. Had its faults, but I liked it. And the great Patrick McGowan is in it. Slam evil. Hungry boy. So anyway, I think Thundar is safe. I'm gonna pronounce him reasonably safe. Like, you know what's that? I'm marking him reasonably safe from Hollywood trash. Now anything can change. Phantom Outsider. Now, Hungry Boy, I totally agree with that. The Phantom film, as he says, was 10 times better than the Shadow film. Yes, I hated the Alec Baldwin Shadow film. Now, I haven't seen it since it first soiled cinema screens in 94, 5, whatever it was. Exactly what year it was, I don't know. What year was that? Anyway, whatever year it was. So, and fairly soon, I will actually be a friend and I on another channel will also be reviewing that in the not too distant future, and I will be seeing it again. Who knows? With today, as the crappy way things are today, maybe I won't hate it as much. I've gone back and watched something that I didn't like and softened up on it a little bit. We'll see. But I don't like Alec Baldwin. That's not going to help. D-Bud said he liked Billy Zane's movie. But I don't. Oh, man. Yeah. So Thundar will never happen. Did Alec Baldwin's shadow go gun crazy and start blasting away? I don't know. They did a lot of weird shit in that movie. And first of all, didn't they got rid of the Kent Allard persona? I believe he was just. It wasn't like he was taking Lamont Cranston's identity. In that movie, he just was Lamont Cranston. Am I remembering that right? If I'm remembering that right, it's stupid. In fact, I remember bitching about it at the time, watching the movie. So, wait a minute. He's not really supposed to be. Oh, never mind. Look, I won't go there. We're talking about Kirby tonight. So, Kirby Thundar, again, and by the way, as I said at the outset, for those who are newly arriving, yes, Chuck Lee, that's Jack Kirby concept art for Thundar, the cartoon he worked on. Oh, the classic. I thought so. Yeah. Hey, Oliver Belamonte, what's up? Clobberin, I heard they'll remake the Red Sonja movie, but if Red Sonja will be woke, it'll be a pass for me. Same here. Same here. If Red Sonja doesn't look like Red Sonja, it's a no. It's a no. And let's face it, again, it's modern Hollywood, buddy, so I wouldn't get those hopes up if I were you. So, as I said at the outset, when we started, because a bunch of people here that weren't here, Kirby didn't necessarily create Thundar. He was brought in from Ruby Spears to work on it, to help it. You know, Alex Toth was there, Steve Gerber, Martin Pascoe, Rich Buckler. A lot of people for comics were working there. But even though he didn't necessarily create Thundar, let's face it, he created Thundar years earlier with this. Before I move on to some of his other things, just want to close up on Thundar by saying, Thundar, Commandy. Hey, Dave, good to see you. I mean, it's so much. Thundar is so much Commandy. And by the way, nothing wrong with that. I love it. And Kirby obviously didn't have a problem with it either. So, but he really did so much with a lot of cosmetic changes. Thundar is pretty much Commandy, and I'm perfectly okay with that. And I love Thundar and I love Commandy equally, or more. Maybe I love them both. And in fact, again, if for those who weren't here at the start of the show, my good friend Ross. Ross, well, my good friend, I haven't seen him in a while. He's my good friend. He's a good dude, and he's been on my show. Ross Pearsile's incredible Super Team Family blog did this mashup, like they always do, which I thought was pretty cool. And that's a team up that should happen. But it was, and then I found this one. This is from Ross Pearson. I did about a year or so ago on my Global Geek Gang shows. We did a show where we talked about the Super Team Family mashup covers blog. It's great stuff. Yes, classic comics. Yes, Ross is amazing. I love his website. You can spend days on that sucker. So many different mashup covers. But then I found this one by someone else, which is kind of cool. Commandy, the last boy on earth, and Thundar, the Barbarian. Hungry boy, good to see you, bro. Hungry for easier days and more sleep. I hear you there, dude. What I adored about Commandy was the mashup of Planet of the Apes plus the Island of Dr. Moreau. Yes. Now, it was just, as far as Commandy and cartoons, I should tell you, Commandy has been in about 3 cartoons. The wondrous, magnificent Batman the Brave and the Bold. He appeared in one of the teaser cartoons, and they did a whole episode. And it was so Kirby-ish. It was a loving tribute to Kirby. It was fantastic. And then about a year ago, on one of those crappy DC animated movies, Blu-rays for the JSA, which was a disappointment big time to me. The short film on there is a Commandy short, which, I loved it. I thought it was great. It's pure Kirby. It's beautiful, wonderful to look at, and it adapts Commandy, a lot of different elements of Commandy. That's true. Thank you, Dave. That's true. I just noticed that Thundar is a ginger. His days are numbered, said Hungry Boy. Yes. So Thundar was in New Jersey. Yeah, he was in Manhattan in the first episode, David. Cousin. So that short, I highly recommend if you can find that DC animated short of Commandy. That's really good as well. So, in addition to Thundar, that's the one that Kirby worked on that actually saw the light of day. Like I said, he worked with some other comic book luminaries like Alex Toth and Steve Gerber, Rich Buckler. There were a few other people, I believe, that worked on Thundar. And then he started, but he was hired to work on some concepts for some other cartoons for them, to do some creating, set some things up. Yes, Denise Warren, the Blue Beetle one's fantastic. It was a Blue Beetle short done, and it was done. That's exact. That Blue Beetle one, I loved it. It was hilarious. It's got all the Ditko's Charlton characters in it. It was. I thought it was wonderful. It was on, again, another wasted Blu-ray because it's the only good thing on the Blu-ray, because it's the Blu-ray of that shitty Batman Long Halloween Part 2, which should have been called Catwoman Long Halloween. But the Blue Beetle short's fantastic if you get a chance to see that. Clobberin, it was DC animated, I think, Batman Brave and the Bold, that showed Commandy's origin, and now he got the name. Yeah, I mean, like I did mention that earlier, Dave, that he was on too. He was on one of the they did a whole episode, and then they did a teaser. He was on a teaser episode as well. You know how they do those teasers before the main story on Batman Brave and the Bold? Batman Brave and the Bold's my happy place, so I love that. So yes, Dave, love it. And so Jack did some other things. I have this card set, Jack Kirby Ruby Spears card set that came out in the 90s that has a bunch of his art for his concept art for different shows. That they've just, he just, ideas, just flooded out of his head. He couldn't walk 2 feet without having an idea for something. crazy idea. Does that mean all of them are great? Nobody can have great ideas all the time, but they still just came out all over the place. And of course, execution and all that thing means the world, but you got to have the idea to work with. How many times you've been sitting there and staring at a blank screen or a blank piece of paper? Kirby just was, I mean, I'm sure he had his blocks too, but he was just unreal. The Gargoyles, that's so Kirby. I want to see the Gargoyles. I want that cartoon to be made. Master Computer Bots, energized cave bots, damaged in the world to control humanity. I mean, that's just so. Can you imagine a Kirby cartoon done in that style on Saturday mornings in that Kirby cartoon, that Kirby style, or close to it? You know, if you look at the animation on Thundar, and I got it running on my TV now. Obviously, it doesn't look exactly like Kirby or anything when you watch the cartoon. It looks more like a general animation. There's a lot of kind of an Alex Toth look to it, who did work on it. Ideas are cheap, imagination is priceless. Hence, Kirby was mega priceless. That's absolutely very well said, Hunger Boy. Appreciate you. Absolutely, Ishness. Kirby couldn't even drive. He'd get an idea and forget he was driving, and that is not made up. That is true. Eventually, later in life, he could drive before, but then eventually, yes, they took the car keys away from him, took his license away. Oh, yeah, you couldn't animate with that detail, Gwagnar, but still, just imagine. There's a commanding omnibus for $245. Well, Minimus probably has that. Alex Toth, not only did Alex Toth do work on Space Ghost and Birdman, I think he even did some work on a Spider-Man cartoon and a few other ones. Hot Wheels. A few other cartoons. Kirby was using Dr. P.H. Martin colored inks for these two, which are quite hard quite hard medium to work with. Yes, they took the Fantastic Car away from the king. Power Planet. Bum, bum, bum. When you look at something like this, you know that Toth was instrumental on Scooby-Doo, Dag Nabbit. That's true. Yeah. I mean, when you say something like this, you know that Kirby didn't just draw something. He had stories and backstories for all these characters. He had a premise for this cartoon. He knew what he wanted to do, I'm betting. He probably gave them a lot of work, a lot of background on what he was drawing for them. I have the card set. The cards have a lot of info on the back of them. They're really great. I just got a few of the pictures here, but this is my favorite goofy ass one. The Cassette Man. What in the hell is that? Is he like a walking VCR? Twin pressure beams can push through steel and rock. Cassette is in chest slot. Electronic boots jolt him over hills and high buildings. The Cassette Man. When cassette is removed from his electronic body, it dematerializes. Sounds a little silly, but hey, cartoons were silly, weren't they? Cartoons were silly back then. What are you going to do? Let's see here. Ruby Spears. There we go. All right. Let's take a look about this. Excuse me. All right, here we go. I should have got more pictures of these, but I was, long day today. I got to go dig out my set of these and just. It was fun. I used to remember reading these cards. They're incredible. Cassette Man versus the Vinyl Vixen. I like it. Well done, Larry. Cassette Man versus the mixtape. Yes. Teddy Ruxpin, man. Yeah, that's crazy. Oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, he's crazy. He's some crazy stuff going on. The bad guys. He had some crazy, crazy concepts going on. We'll never see the like of this kind of imagination again, folks. It's just extraordinary. Extraordinary. So basically, we talked a little bit of Thundar. We talked a little bit of Kirby's Ruby Spear stuff. For the remainder of the show, probably just hang out with you guys. Of course, we can still talk Kirby or whatever you want. Or if you got anything else going on you want to mention, please feel free. I think yes, Alex Toth worked on Hot Wheels, Super Friends, Josie and the Pussycats, and Outer Space, among many others. Gray Mara worked on the Ralph Bakshi Spider-Man cartoon, also true. So, someone asked me a question at the outside of the show. I said I would get back to it. Then, Phantom, you asked something about some kind of rumor thing going on today. Was it about that FF one or something else? Oh, was it the Captain America one? I'm trying to remember now. The Cap rumor. Okay, what was the Cap rumor about? I didn't get a chance to see that. I haven't taken a look at the internet much today at all. So I'm not sure. Oh, was it something about? Oh, let's see. Was that something about they want to make him? They don't like Cap, which this, of course, they don't, because he appeals to certain political side of the spectrum that they. Yeah. Sidney Warren says, cool fact about Super Friends. Mike Sekowsky also did characters designs for the show. Well, he drew Justice League for a long time. In addition to Toth and Kirby, meaning JLA's co-creator worked on designs for a JLA cartoon. Excellent. That's great. And yes, I love Mike Sekowsky. I loved him. He was a co-creator of the Justice League for sure. They're going to make Cap less pro-America. Oh, yeah. So he's not even Cap. He's Sam. And Sam, look, I can't speak for everybody. I speak for Clobberin times, though. And at Clobberin times, Captain America is Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers is Captain America. Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and so on and so forth. T'Challa is the Black Panther, too, if you want to just throw it out there. You could call anybody anything, I guess. You could call people whatever you want. Bruce Wayne's Batman. Sorry. Kal-El, Clark Kent, Superman. That's all. In the story. So, Sam Wilson. I love Sam Wilson. I mean, look, Cap and the Falcon were package deal. My first time I ever saw a Captain America comic. It was a reprint, Power Records. But it was a reprint, but it was a Power Records, and it was Captain America and the Falcon. I love him. Sam Wilson is the Falcon. Oh, they're bringing Chris Evans back, less pro-America. Is that the rumor? I'm not sure I believe that rumor. Chris Lee says, did you like to draw comics when you were younger? I love comics, but Chris Lee, as I've often say to my friends here, I couldn't draw flies. I'm a horrible art. I can't draw a stick figure, but I love comic book art, of course, and I try to learn as much as I can about it, but I'm no artist like some of my friends here, like Hungry Boy is a great artist. Minimus is a great artist. Steve Mitchum's is a great artist as well, and I'm sure maybe some of our other friends are artists. But so I didn't draw comics. I wish if I could have drawn, I would be. If I was an artist, comics would have been my chosen profession. I have been something. I used to be try to do a lot of writing of different things, and I once kind of wanted to write comics and movies and stuff, but I kind of gave that up. So I'm not so sure I believe Chris Evans coming back, but I do believe that if he did, that's what they would do, bringing back Chris Evans back to and make him less pro-America. Oh, okay, Chuck, you draw, cool, keep it up, man. Well, yeah. So the rumor is they're going to bring Chris Evans back and make him less pro-America. Well, look, I'd be surprised if he would come back, but if he did, because he's a D-bag anyway in real life. But he's great as Captain America. I accept what they did to him and what he allowed them to do in Endgame, which was they ruined him at the end of Endgame, but because Captain America doesn't quit. But all that said, if he did come back, I absolutely believe that would be what they would do to him, and he would go along with it because he's an imbecile. So I'm skeptical about it being true. Didn't Steve Englehart do that in 7? Yeah. Steve Englehart did do it to an extent. He was it's true that they got political even in the 70s with comics, and they did some radical crap. And some of those Steve Englehart, the story, some of the stuff Steve Englehart did was pretty good, but still it was pretty political. But yes, Wagner, I don't think to this extent though. It's not so much that he was not pro-America. He was kind of in the Englehart one. So Englehart was very politically biased and motivated for sure, and he hated Nixon. And it was really aimed at Nixon. I thought. At least, again, it's been a while since I've read some of those stories. In fact, now that you mention it, I plan to go back and do a deep dive and read some of those Englehart, I don't know what they call it, Secret Empire stuff, whatever it was, the Englehart issues of Cap when he became Nomad and all that crap. It's been a long time. Yeah, the Secret Empire thing. Thank you, Phantom. So, yeah, it was due to a corrupt leader. Again, I'm not so sure. It was not radical in the same way that it would be today. I don't think. Okay, 169 through 183 ballpark, says Phantom Outsider. Good to know. I might write that down and start rereading some of those. And it's been forever since I've actually read those. I don't even know if I read them all. Cap resigned when he was angry at leadership in the USA. That was later in the 80s when he did that, Mark D. Mark D, if you feel like hanging, let me know. But if not, no biggie. So that was later in the 80s, but yeah. Let's have some Kirby action for no particular reason, just for the fun of it. So I don't believe that rumor. Not that they wouldn't do it. I'm not saying I disbelieve it either. I'm saying I'm skeptical on that rumor because I don't know if whatchamacallit, Piss Evans would come back. Right. Yeah, it was the president was the leader of the Secret Empire, all that kind of crap. Yeah. Marvel was, look, at that point, they had comics by Don McGregor, Black Panther. They had comics by a few other guys, Englehart, that definitely dipped them into politics a little bit. And yet they knew how to be at least subtle about it. A little bit, yeah. I mean, and that's why some numbnuts who try to defend the bullshit that they do with modern comics being ultra radically political say stuff like, "Well, they did it. Denny O'Neil did it with DC and even Marvel, and then Steve Englehart." they try to bring up these kinds of examples when it's nowhere near the same thing. I mean, and not. I mean, sometimes it was. Look. Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams' Hard Traveling Heroes was a great looking comic. Some of the most magnificent art in any comic book ever. The stories were goofy. I mean, look, I loved Denny O'Neil. The stories were goofy. The dialogue was goofy and over the top, and it had a lot of dumb hippie ideas. It was hippie drivel, and I love the comic. I love it. Everything it preaches is stupid. For the most part, most of the things preached in the Green Lantern, Green Arrow comics is hippie nonsense. That when you read it is really cringy dialogue, and they say really dumbass things that can be easily refuted with someone who knows what they're, who understands reason and logic. But I love the comics, the art, and even the hokiness of the whole story. I mean, it didn't really get us in. Maybe it did have a bad effect, but I love them. That's true. Cap came out against the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in the 90s and 2000s, and I didn't like them doing that. I didn't like them doing that with Cap. But they did it. So what are you going to do? But it's still not the same. Just like when they would get, they would get political on Star Trek or something. But in the old days, and it would be certainly political and philosophical, but it's not the same. And there you go. Federal Center. Green Arrow is fully hippie crap. Rich guy pretending to be a common man. That's why Hawkeye, well, yeah. But still, and I love Oliver Queen. He is a hippie, pinko, old lefty, as he even said, I'm an old lefty. But I love him. I don't know why. I just love the guy. And of course, he's also a big hypocrite. Mr. Peace and Love and everything. And Mike Grell said, screw that. And he had him shooting people with arrows, crapping longbow hunters. And that was a brutal comic, Green Arrow, the Longbow Hunters. But yeah, look, they would do that to Cap. If Disney, if they get Chris Evans back, then I'm going to go, yeah, get ready for idiocy. First of all, here's why I'm not so sure I believe it. Not only would he not do it, I thought they were committed to making Sam Wilson into Captain America. Are they not? Did I miss something? Link sent there, Mark. But I don't know. Maybe not. But I don't think so. I think that isn't Cap 4 supposed to be Sam Wilson's movie? They should you can call him Captain Falcon if you want to, but he's the Falcon. That's probably true, Chris Berger. If Evans returns, he'll be Hydra Cap, which it can bite me. Yeah, good. Get ready for people not to go see a Captain America movie. For the first time, it'll be a bomb. Because it's been proven if you make dog crap filled with messages, it's been proven that you're not even going to do well with a guy with a bankable star like Chris Hemsworth. Multiverse thing, yeah, that makes sense. Have Evans Cap lecture the fans, yeah. Yeah, Cap 4 is called New World Order. I've seen that, so I've noticed that. Well, there you go. That's that, right? So what are you going to do? Yes, Clubber, you're correct. Anthony Mackie will be Cap in the fourth Captain America movie. He won't be Cap to me, though. I like him. I mean, I think he's a good actor. I really love him as Sam. And he'll be Sam. He'll be Falcon in his stupid costume with wings and shit. But he won't be Captain America to me. Mark, I sent you a link there. I don't know if you saw it, but the Woke Breaker, what's happening, buddy? Good to see you there. Phantom Outsider says, as I keep saying, if they pass that copyright law, these morons will lose the bulk of the IPs. Well, let's hope it happens. It couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of jackasses. J.D. Lewis said, Denny once said in an interview at the time he considered his work on Wonder Woman to be a labor of love, while his work on Superman to be garbage. In later years, he reversed his position on both. Yo, what's up?
Hey, thanks for having me. How's it going?
The great engineer, Mark B with the C's here. What's up, dude?
Oh, just fixing computers and hanging out. Yeah? I think cool. I got it to work.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
good.
I think they want Evans back because I think the Marvel Universe movies have been tanking. Oh, I think so because they've been tanking. So what are the big stars? I mean, Downey is, AK. Iron Man's dead, right? Thor, the last movie was a disaster. Spider-Man's still a big hit, but the Avengers are basically gone now, right? So I think that's why they want to try to somehow bring Cap back. I mean, throw money at the guy and maybe fix that Endgame fiasco where Cap gave up. And why did he age too? Why would Cap age? He wouldn't be that old even if he went back 40 years, right? And lived
40,
through
like 70.
How far back in time did he go? So I'm thinking, yeah.
If he stopped in 40 something.
Yeah,
after the war.
And then when was what time? Yeah, what's Endgame was 2018, I guess.
2025-ish.
Yeah.
Remember, it was 5 year gap. That was 5 year gap.
5 year, yeah. So how old would Cap have been?
He'd be. I mean, that's like 70 something years or whatever. Don't look at
but still, doesn't he like not age? I mean,
well, I guess he does, but not as fast as everybody else, maybe. But I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of been established in the comics that Cap doesn't. He's a kind of like Wolverine that he doesn't age. So I'm like, why the heck would he been that decrepit? I mean, come on. Well, if you remember when the Super Soldier, well, I don't think you're reading Cap at that time, I'm guessing, but in the I can't remember how many issues ago it was, but he lost the Super Soldier syndrome again. It's happened before.
Of course, it's happened so many times.
Yeah. So the last time that it happened, it was an old man Cap, and he was basically, like Nick Fury running some special forces operations, but then they kept drawing him like, I'm like, for a 140-year-old guy, he's the most buff guy. Like in the beginning, they were drawing him like real. Like with a cane and real fragile, and then the artist kept changing him over time, so it was like this super buff guy with a lot of wrinkles. And then of course, eventually they fixed the Super Soldier Serum. I can't remember how that was resolved, but yeah, that's it's crazy. He would never, like you said, and it was he would never give up. And then he would have gone. If you go back in time, then I guess it's an alternate time. Don't get it. Captain Spock is not here anymore, is he? But all the alternate universe garbage. I mean, I guess I could see where you'd want to go back and live with Peggy, but then you'd fight all those battles again, or what? I don't know. That's why I can't stand time travel. So
yeah, I hate what they did to it in Endgame. I hated it, but
yeah.
So yeah, they're probably gonna do. Hey, Brian Hepburn, welcome. I didn't see you come in there. Hey, good to see you, buddy. He says they're pushing Captain Carter pretty hard to be too, between What If and the Multiverse of Madness. Yeah, they'll probably stick her in there somewhere, I guess. So, yeah, whatever. I mean,
well, she's a she's a very handsome lady.
I love her, but
Captain Picard would say.
Yeah, did she slap him?
Did she slap him?
Yeah. So, yeah, the problem is they do that, and they're going to make her the big, it'll be all about her. And, Cap will be made fun of and turn into a jackass and un-American twerp. It'll all be Peggy Carter will also be un-American, but in a good way. Of course, it'll all be about the girl power.
Well, they'll do the same way. They'll bring Miles Morales in. They'll bring in these alternate versions of the characters. So if you're watching, a lot of you guys were watching Sunday Night Geeker and you were on with me, and I showed, I think, every toy that existed in Target last night.
Seemingly every toy ever made in the history of mankind, I think.
Yeah, see, I go overboard when I do things. Yeah. I had plenty of time. What else was I going to do? But, but yeah, they're pushing, Miles Morales big time. They're pushing Gwen Stacy as Ghost Spider. For a while, she was Spider Gwen. They're pushing all these alternative, characters and versions of characters. And I got to say, like, my niece loves Wanda. She's just loves the character of Wanda. I don't know how. From watching the WandaVision, and she's 10 years old, little kid, so she loves it. So I bought her a T-shirt, and some of my other, another friend of mine, his young daughter, really loves Loki and Black Widow. She likes, and some of the characters. So it's not. Yeah, you want to have. You don't want to alienate, everyone, but I think what they're doing at the expense of some of the long-term fans. So yeah, we want to have new kids and younger kids, and it's fine to have some comics that are more geared towards young girls if you want, but the core of the comic books has traditionally been young boys. So not to say that they were excluded, but just the way nature of the way things sometimes worked out with likes and dis. We had Dungeons and Dragons growing up. It's mostly guys, but there were like 4 or 5 girls that in high school had started playing D&D. So it doesn't mean it can't happen, but just the way things naturally skew. But they're really pushing all these alternative characters and alienating, I think, to the detriment of their legacy characters. You can have both and do it well, right? We had Wasp for all those years, but they don't care. Yeah, and Scarlet Witch, you had great characters alongside Invisible Woman. Alongside the main characters. But when you replace Iron Man with Riri Williams, I mean, it's not going to go over so well. So,
but they don't give a crap.
Yep.
Hungry Boys. Hungry Boy. Phantom Outsider says, born 1969. I presume he's speaking of Steve Rogers. To 2025 is 109 years. Is 109, but. He also lived in present day for about 10 years from Avengers to Endgame, right? So like 119 years. And then, wait a minute.
But then he would have skipped don't forget the years that he was on ice. So
he was on ice, but still.
But then if he went back, then he would have never been on ice, basically, I guess. Yeah. But you'd add the 10 years in the present day, yeah.
Well, that version of him still has to be on ice.
Right.
There still has to be a version of him to be on ice. That's why I hate time travel, just like Captain. I hate it when it's terribly misused, especially. Andy Masterson, what's up, dude?
Hey, Andy.
It was a bait and switch. I don't know if it was planned as one. It was. I think it just kind of morphed into that. I mean, I don't know if it planned. It may have been. Who knows? I know that Kevin Feige's a bitch, and he became like this just insufferable twit who. I never thought he was. All this stuff about him being a genius was crap. Okay, because let's take it when the MCU was still pretty good, not perfect. There were some of the movies weren't great, but when it was still watchable and something we all I don't know about all, but I looked forward to. He kind of jumped onto it later, or I don't know if he had that much to do with all its early success, and then Yeah, he was kind of there. I think he was just kind of one of those guys around who was catching a lot of credit he never didn't really deserve. I think John Favreau set up a good bit of it and got kind of nudged out. But either way, the reason why it's turned into the MCU and total dog shit is because of him. That's for sure. Please, for those of you who don't like sports, forgive me. I'm going to use a sports analogy again because they are good analogies. He's that defensive coordinator who gets the head coach leaves after a Super Bowl. The defensive coordinator gets elevated to head coach. All right, cuz, good to see you, Dave Rayborn, man. My cousin, head out, buddy.
Take care, David.
Night, man. So they promote the general manager decides to go ahead and promote from within. The D coordinator is now the head coach after a long, successful run of a head coach who's won a Super Bowl and won a lot of playoff games and all this kind of stuff.
Bruce Belichick.
Yeah, someone coming in. You don't envy the guy coming in after Belichick.
Well, Belichick was a defensive coordinator for the Giants.
Yeah, but Bill Belichick was a defensive. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about from within, though. He wasn't.
Oh, from within, yeah.
He wasn't a member of the Patriots when he went there. In fact, he quit the Jets job.
He went for the Jets for one day. Yeah, that was big news in NYC here. Yeah,
I'm talking about the defensive coordinator that's been around.
Yeah, gets up. Yep.
Along with the team, with that head coach, then he gets given the job. Like whoever gets the job after Belichick, that is not enviable.
Was Buddy Ryan? I don't want to get too derailed. Was Buddy Ryan the defensive coordinator, then head coach, or was he?
He was a defensive coordinator in Chicago, then got the head coaching job in Philly.
So
anyway, but you're a guy who's on the team, and then he gets after the head coach leaves after having a real long, successful run. This just happened in New Orleans. As a Saints fan, Dennis Allen is now the head coach for the first year. His first year here in New Orleans after Sean Payton just left. After Sean Payton was there since 2006, he won a Super Bowl. He was in a lot of playoff games, all that kind of crap. So. This guy gets in there, and the team. Let's say the team starts having like mediocre seasons, but they keep him in. They think, well, yeah, he was behind the scenes. He was really good. Everyone thinks he was so great. But now he's got control. Now he's the coach, and he starts destroying everything, and yet. In a meritocracy like the NFL, and it's still mostly for that, he wouldn't be long for this earth. He wouldn't be long. He'd be a couple seasons and he'd be gone.
Yep.
However, this what's missing. In Hollywood, if they love you and you pay your dues, which Kevin Feige does, you can be that crappy defensive coordinator who takes over from that successful head coach and keep destroying the team eventually to the point where you become a big bunch of losers. And you don't give a crap because you got yours, and they're not going to do anything to you. They don't have a real general manager or an owner to fire you because it doesn't work the same way. What would happen to a coach in the NFL, for example, in that scenario, won't happen to a Kevin Feige, even though he's that guy that takes over from the successful guy and runs it into the ground. And he's still, again, in a real life scenario, he's toast because all he's done is run this thing into the ground. Well, yeah, Seifert did take over from Walsh, and he got that Super Bowl. And also, you could also make the case for, Jimmy Johnson and what's his face, Barry Switzer. Hey, give him Keely Chow. Yes, similar to that, D-Bud. The thing is, in those scenarios, they were on a short leash, and eventually, they outlived their welcome. Feige. Doesn't matter what happens, they're going to keep him. He's going to be around.
You could never get rid of Feige. I mean, yeah.
So I would say that these two, again, where the one hand makes sense, a meritocracy that the guy doesn't produce, he's done. It doesn't work that way in Hollywood. He's paid his dues. He's done whatever it is to be part of that, to look like the big smart guy, even though he's ruining everything. And yet he's made his sacrifices to the Hollywood degenerate gods, and he will stay there. Larry, Mike Ditka was in Dallas as a player and as an assistant coach. He's a guy. I think he might be the only player I know of that is a Hall of Famer as a player. He has a Super Bowl ring as a player, as an assistant coach, and a head coach. That's weird. Sorry to get football on you guys. I apologize.
Yeah. But you got to give Feige some credit too. I mean, for the start of the MCU was phenomenal, and we all loved it, and it was fantastic. And when you're in the top, you get the credit, whether depending on what how much you do, and then when things are bad, you get you got to take the blame too. So Marvel's really misfired since Infinity War. So Spider-Man was a fun movie. Shang-Chi was I liked it, but it was not Shang-Chi. It's just generic garbage.
But yeah, I know that, D, but that's what I'm saying. But even though Seifert won that, then not just a year or two later, he ends up in Carolina. But it's true. He won. Seifert did win a Super Bowl on his own.
Did they win? He won 2 Super Bowls, didn't he?
He won 2, but the first one he won was with Walsh's team.
Yeah.
I mean, look, that 90 Super Bowl, that was all Bill Walsh's team. I mean, although a lot of it was also for the next one he won a few years later. But Kevin Feige.
Well, then he was a disaster for the Jaguars or the Panthers. Was it the Panthers or the
Panthers? Yeah, he got him in the playoffs, but I mean, he didn't really, he didn't. I mean, look, in fact, he got him to the playoffs pretty quick.
Was last year they lost 15 games in a row, though. Remember that?
Right. One? I mean, yeah, but he got that team to the playoffs pretty quick for an expansion.
Yeah.
But you see, that's what I'm saying, though. Feige boy. Did you see that interview that they did with the writer or the showrunner, whatever you want to call her, for the She-Bulk, where she was bragging about what a great guy he was because she lets him bully him and push him around?
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah.
I bet he feels great that this,
some real cringy dialogue in that.
Pussweed you are.
There's some real cringy dialogue in some of those episodes.
Yes, and he lets me push him around. And, all this, and lets me bully him, she said.
Yeah. So,
Minimus, I'll write that one down. It might be funny sometimes, so don't forget it. You never know. One of these years, it might be a funny thing you said. I'm right. You never know. And Avi Arad got awesome. And I'm talking. We wrote about any news on the spread this weekend. He said so. So, anyway. Feige sucks, basically, is the bottom line here. The big thing with Red Wolves, I'm just trying to find. Oh, we'll just got to see what they're talking about. Yes, Larry, the NFL bent the knee, and I canceled the NFL for myself. That's for sure. Good to see you, Keely Child. And Glenzer, hello, Glenzer. Many would call the 94 Niners Eddie's team because of the free agent signed that, yeah. It was Eddie's team. It was DeBartolo's team.
Don't forget how good Steve Young was, too.
He was. I won't forget that. And I was happy that our beloved Saint player, Ricky Jackson, got to go there and get a ring.
Of course, because Steve Young went to my high school, so when I was a kid, so a little biased, even though I'm a Giants fan. Oh, yeah.
I thought His brother was from he was from your area?
Yeah, no, I went to my high school. Yeah,
okay.
The football stadium was Steve Young Stadium. Yep.
We'll hold it against you.
Yeah.
I hate Steve Young.
And his brother was quarterback when I was there, so he was a few. But I know a bunch of guys that played with him, and they said, you hear stories. And he's like, yeah, they all knew how amazing he was. You couldn't tackle the guy. I mean, back then it was more of a running game, and obviously in high school sports than it was.
Oh yeah.
But he said he was just an incredible athlete, just all around. As you talk to guys that grew up playing with him, like, yeah, he was amazing.
He was that. So anyway, I guess this thing. Let's see. Anybody else have any other questions? Since this is our open part of the show.
Yeah, we started a lot of sports ball story, but Oliver.
That was my fault.
Oliver has it. Well, sometimes geeks and nerds like the sports ball too.
I love talking football. I can't help it.
Yeah.
Keely Chow says college football is better than NFL roll tide. Well, yeah, I kind of agree now. Actually, I'm always been more of an NFL guy, Keely, but now I can watch a little more. I can watch college. Well, they've been in the knee a lot too, though. I mean, they do a lot of chintzy crap too. Cardinal Sin with a $10 super. What's up, Cardi? What you doing, man? Good to see you. I hope you're doing well, buddy. Did you stream today? Were you streaming earlier? I got home late. I could have swore you were streaming, but I'm not sure because I was I checked on my phone. Maybe it wasn't you, but I know our buddy 70s had Gary on today.
Yeah. Oh, and we got Cardinal Sync. Can you see the what he just did in the chat, Clobberin Times?
I see you mean the super sticker?
And he also just gifted 10 Clobberin Times memberships. That's amazing.
I can't see it.
Yeah, I don't think the memberships scroll over to the StreamYard side. Yep. So he just gifted 10 Clobberin Times memberships in addition to the $10 thank you.
Yeah, I had to go over there.
Yep.
Oh, Cardinal, thank you so much, man. You're too kind, buddy. Thank you. That's very nice of you, bud. And everyone, whoever wants to get one of those memberships, please feel free. And I wish I could get one, but they won't let me join.
I joined on my personal account, my real name, so I gotta. YouTube was supposed to answer.
You can't.
Well, I gotta cancel it. I gotta cancel it on September 9th, and then it'll re up, a couple days later. But
thanks, Cardi.
I even contacted YouTube support, and they're like, "Oh, this really we can't," because you like Hungry Boy has a million names, or I got to check again, see if they got another answer. But yeah, I was like, can you just switch it over? Because I guess I was so excited to try to be the first sub that I didn't switch the account to the right account when I bought the membership, because I am member number 1 technically. Yeah.
Blinzer, as a 49ers fan, even I applaud Teague for hitting. Yeah, look, taking the shot at Terrell Owens. Look, Louis Teague should be in the Hall of Fame for hitting Terrell Owens at that star. That's one of the greatest plays that year it happened. Remember that?
Yeah. What an idiot! Oh,
Mark Lerseth, hello there. Good to see you.
What's with wide receivers being idiots too, right? It's
they usually are, but no, not
seems
always.
Like but there's a lot of wide receivers that are morons. I mean, that and other than Dion with his, usually usually. See, Dion was weird. Defensive backs he was both
like him.
Yeah,
but
of course he had the
goods
to back it up though. Dion, while it was in his prime. Yeah,
like you say, it's usually wide receivers that are the clowns,
right? I mean, it's got to be something about the position, right? I mean, it's just. Well,
it is. It is something about it. It's a flashy position. Sid Eastwarren asked the question. He said, "Clubby, who's your favorite Judge Dredd artist?" That would be simple. It'd be Brian Bolin, hands down. Granted, he never could finish too many long stories. He was the slowest molasses. He would do a chapter or two, and then Ron Smith or Mike McClane or Carlos Oscaro have to come in and finish his the stories for his early Judge Dredd stories when he was the art robot at 2000 AD, finishing some of my favorite Judge Dredd stories. But I love him the best. I mean, for me, nobody, and he wasn't the first artist to draw him, but no one defined Judge Dredd the way Brian Bolin did, in my opinion. But you got his art on the Judge Death story; it's just phenomenal. What about you? Who had Glinzer? Was it Glinzer that I said? I got rid of it already. No, Sid. Sid, do you have a favorite Judge Dredd artist? Let me know.
I haven't read enough Judge Dredd to answer him.
I gave the pretty basic. That's, I think most people are gonna answer. That's sort of like asking who's your favorite thing artist. Most people, with any sense, are gonna say Jack Kirby. If they say John Byrne, I'm gonna smack them anyway. So, but most people say Kirby.
Yeah.
So that's because Bolin put in 20 times more lines than Gibbons. So yeah, sometimes took 20 times more time to ink. Yeah, I would like to have seen Gibbons draw Judge Dredd, but he never really did. He was doing other stuff there. But and there's the thing, when you get some of those Titan albums of Judge Dredd, which I highly recommend, the early ones, Judge Death, Judge Caligula parts 1 and 2, the Cursed Earth parts 1, 2, 3, whatever. You have in some of those stories or the sagas, you'll have the first chapter or two by Brian Bolin. Well, this is so good. And then, God bless him, as you've got me in the habit of saying, you turn to the next page, and the art's by Mike McClane or Carlos Oscara or Ron Smith or somebody like that, and it's just so far down from Brian Bolland.
Yeah, it just kills kills what you're reading. Of course, I didn't want to get in too much trouble with our artists out there in the chat, like Hungry Boy, but I was saying in some ways I'd rather have a better story and the not so good art. If I had to pick, would I rather bad story or bad artists? I would go with bad artists. Of course, you want to obviously have both because it takes away. But I can kind of grin or grimace through a bad artist with a really good story. But the other way around, if you got a terrible story and fantastic art, it just doesn't. I guess you could just not read it, but it just kills everything if the story's ridiculous. So. But
yeah,
I'm gonna don't get mad at me. But I want both. But then you're just looking it's like a flip through book. But that's why when you have magic, when you've got someone like Kirby who's storyteller, doing the story and also an incredible artist. Look what happened with McFarlane with when you started writing that Spider-Man book, The Torment. I mean, it was horrendous. The art was great. I mean, I personally like McFarlane, so I like the art, but he couldn't write. I mean, so and I really hated looking at the book. But I better shut up before getting into too much trouble with Hungry Boy.
But talk about art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, D. But Martin was Torment, all right. Yeah.
That's actually.
I just want to mention too. Cardinal Sin said if there's a setting on YouTube, if you didn't get gifted a membership, and thank you again for that, Cardinal, you can leave the chat, tick the box that says you would like to receive memberships, and come back into the chat. So I'm not sure which there's a setting maybe in one of the YouTube settings somewhere, or maybe you could elaborate, Cardinal. I think I've heard about that too, where you can allow gift subs yourself to be gifted a sub. We'll try to find out. Yeah, because if you don't turn that on, then you can't be gifted a sub. I think that's so because maybe not all the subs got gifted yet, so we don't want to. So I'm gonna do a search, not a Google search, but and see what that setting is. Or Cardinal, if you could elaborate, that'd be awesome. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but I do know this. I'm just kidding. I don't know that either. I don't know it at all, actually. No, honestly, I did not see it. I was looking for. Sorry, was something. All right. Let's see here. Larry asks an interesting question. But I don't really have a definitive answer for you. Larry says, Clobby, who did best coloring for Kirby? I mean, Stan Goldberg was great. I mean, he colored so many, comics for Fantastic Four, and but I can't remember who did a lot of his coloring for him at DC, because so many times when you look at the splashes, there were colorists uncredited in some of those earlier comics. So I'm gonna have to say, actually Kirby colored did a lot of his own coloring sometimes as well. I think. Minimus might know some of the other colorists that colored for him, and so I don't know. I'm sorry, but I mean, inking gets credited a lot more than coloring on some of those older comics. For example, if you look at the let's look at a splash page of a FF comic. For example, let's go to the Fantastic Four. Well, the one we reviewed. Images. Crap. The most famous splash page of them all. Damn it.
It's coming.
Huh?
I'm sure you'll get it. Yep.
No. See, they don't even have a color credit on a lot of this older stuff. They'll give they credit to the inker and the letterer, but not the colorist. But that was Stan Goldberg, who got no credit on those Fantastic Fours. Yeah,
because I was asking about that because the coloring was just so so amazing. Especially I love the way the coloring on the thing is done. It's just beautiful.
Yeah. So it's tough. Clobby, what's it? Cardinal said, I dropped the new Gaming with Cardinal Sin video earlier before that I was streaming and okay, gotcha. I may have come across that, but I was messing with my phone. And okay, I got you, Cardi. You haven't been streaming much lately, or do you do what you been doing streaming wise? Or let us know. And everyone, please, if you have not already, what are you waiting for? Please subscribe to Cardinal Sin's channel. 6, oh my goodness, 6 is here. Hey 6.
Hey 6.
What is up, beautiful lady? It's good to see you. We're always glad to see 6 pop in.
That's for sure.
Yeah. But I'm sorry about that, Larry, that I couldn't come up with a better answer on something like that. It had to be a tough job coloring Kirby, though. But Stan Goldberg was one of the most prolific colorists ever. But like I said, he didn't get credited a lot back then. And it was really, I want to say it was sometime in the mid 70s or something like that, where colors started getting more credit in all the books. Oliver Belamonte says, Clobby Mark, you have a favorite villains of Judge Dredd, like Rico Dredd, the Dark Judges, or the Sisters of Death? Mine is Judge Death. I like Rico, obviously. And Judge Caligula. Judge Cal, basically. So it's Judge Cal. It wasn't really Caligula. Caligula was the name of the trade, but it was called Judge Cal. Wagner says, I don't think I have seen Super Boxers. Just remember that he drew the various Thing comics for over 10 years. Let's talk the classic. You must be talking about Ron Wilson. I caught the tail end of the conversation, so I must have. I eavesdropped on their conversation, I guess, but I didn't catch the part of it there. So I'm not sure what he's answering. Oh, there we go. Wagner,
Judge Wapner, Judge
Ron Wilson. There's a name I haven't heard in a while. Remember Superbox or oh, okay. Yeah. Ron Wilson. We reviewed a Ron Wilson comic. You and I. Remember?
Oh yeah. That was which one was that? That was Crud. Bad memory.
Marvel 2-in-1 Annual number 7.
Which is right. It's in my hands right now.
Yeah, nice.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, we were
it's next to FF51. Yep. I got it on my desk.
Ron needed inkers. I mean, bless his soul. I'd love to meet Ron Wilson. I think when he had a con recently, I saw a picture of him somewhere. But I'd love to meet him. But he drew the Thing a lot.
God, that'd be a great book to get signed at a con. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
I'll bring all my copies of that one. Yeah.
Marvel 2-in-1 Annual.
I think that's my favorite. I think that's my number one comic book. I think.
Your all-time favorite comic ever?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
It's always lovely to have a lady pop in. 6. I hope you're doing well tonight, my dear. So let's see here. But yeah, I'm glad. Sid, are you reading some old Judge Dredd? Did you say? I think Sid said he was must be reading some Judge Dredd. So you haven't read much Judge Dredd, is what you're saying?
No, yeah, I got to recuse myself now because I wouldn't.
I got you.
Only read a few issues, so that would be BSing. I don't want to do that. Yep. But that's very cool to. I got to catch up on so much reading. It's just and streaming. And it needs to be more hours in a day. It's a lot of fun, but and then you got to watch, Shulky and all this other stuff that's out, and the new Game of Thrones prequel has been pretty good so far. The last one got a little bit too much of the feminist message, maybe for some, but the story has been pretty good and pretty well done. And Matt Smith is phenomenal. I never thought I would accept him as a middle-aged a warrior, from the Middle Ages, or fantasy, but. He's just such a talented actor. He's just so good in everything he does. Yeah.
Let's take care of something. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
no, go ahead. Go for it.
Says having a shitty night. Left Like Union for a break to hear some friendly voices. Well, you have them here, 6. I'm so sorry to hear that, my dear. I hope there's nothing too bad. I'm really terribly sorry to hear it, but you have love here. We love you, and we're just thrilled to see you. You are the best, and I hope it's nothing too serious, and I hope the night improves, my dear. And it is wonderful to see. I mean, now I feel bad because you're having a bad night, but you made mine so much better by popping in and saying hi. So it's great to see you. And the guys all feel the same. So we're all happy to see you here. You're amongst friends here. So love to you, and please have a much better night. Good luck on that for sure.
Good luck. Yep.
Let's see. Hey, J.D. Lewis said, Editor-in-Chief Roy Thomas started accrediting colors at Marvel in 1972. Published. Jeanette Kahn started accrediting colors in 1976. So I was fairly close to that. So you always have friends here, 6. So, and there's the thing. It was, I never understood, because I was thinking about, I haven't thought about that in a while. I'm glad it was actually brought up. I never understood why they would not credit the colors on a comic. I mean,
yeah.
Is it more important than the ink, the art of the inking? Maybe not, but it's a color comic, so it's right up there. It's arguably as important as the lettering, for God's sake. Because kids certainly I like black and white comics, but let's face
lettering's important too.
Kids are gonna buy it. Well, of course, and they credit letterers.
Yeah. So,
Cardo says, "Is this a safe space?" I'd like to think so. Yes, you're all safe here. I'll say it like Avon said it in the episode Orbit. Well, you know what you always say, Villa. You know you are safe with me. Bum, 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 bum. Some here will get that.
Is Dr. Doom safe here?
Yes, indeedishness. It's a safe zone. But yeah, colorist is very important. Yeah, absolutely. And Stan Goldberg did it for years and years, and a few other people did too. But that's why it's hard to nail down how many people colored in the Silver Age, and then even in the Bronze. And I can tell you this: in the Golden Age and a lot of the Silver Age, the artists, before there were even a lot of people doing inking, artists had to ink their own stuff, and in some cases had to color their own stuff. And Hungry Boy, who is a pro from the industry, and I was hoping he would weigh in on it. He said the colorist credit thing always pissed me off. Bad coloring kills good art and can improve mediocre art. Plus, it took decades to learn Adams colored tons of his own work. And yes, Adams colored a lot of his own work. Kirby colored a lot of his own work, although later he couldn't do as much. I think Romita colored a lot, if I remember correctly. A lot of these guys will tell you, they had to do a lot of coloring for their own stuff. Gil Kane did too, I think, even. But it just depends.
And that's got to be time consuming too, right, Hungry Boy? That's got to take.
You got a deadline for all the pencils and everything. You don't have time to color a lot of stuff. Think about Adams, though, he didn't see Kirby and Romita. Those guys couldn't do as much with the coloring because they had so many interiors to work on. Neil Adams did interior work, but for them, if you in the grand scheme of things, compared to a guy like even just a Romita or a Buscema or somebody like that, he didn't do that much. But he did tons of covers, and so when he colored a lot of his own work, I think he probably definitely had to do his own cover coloring.
Yeah.
Again, that's total guess. How do I know? But I'm just saying. The business of making comic books when you didn't in the times of a lower technology. It wasn't easy.
Yeah, the time to I have no idea how to. I do Photoshop and do basic stuff, but I got to imagine it's a heck of a lot faster coloring on a computer today. Although I know a lot of us don't like the digital arts, but like I say, I always mention my friend Chris, who's a really fantastic artist. He draws paper and pencil and brush, and he does all the he's got 2 art degrees, a master in art, art, fine arts, and he does use the tablet, but he always draws everything first on paper and pencil and brush, and it just so amazing too to watch an artist create something out of nothing. And sometimes he was throwing out stuff he didn't like, and I'm like, this is so good. So he's probably not listening, but I pulled a couple of things out of the garbage pail and saved them. Like, but he does know how to use color, and he was showing me how they it's a Wacom tablet, and but just like any tool, I mean, you can make things look really. Some of the stuff he would translate his original drawings to digital, and you almost couldn't tell that it was digitally done, but he knows the stuff. But some of the artwork today is just so brutally horrible. They're just cutting corners. They don't know the basics of character design or page layout, panel layout, and it's just brutal.
I think Kirby used to do some coloring for Jack, and a lot of times people would have spouses and stuff. Was it or family members? Wally Wood's, I think it was his daughter Tajana Wood was a colorist. A good one. Glennis Ween, I think, was Lynn Ween's wife, and she was a colorist. Lynn Varley was a colorist for Frank, his wife, or I think it was Frank Miller's wife, or whatever, was a colorist for him. Yeah, I mean, so I'm glad they started crediting the colorist. I mean, why not? It's so important. I don't understand. I mean, I looked, the credit boxes were weird, but you're putting the letter there. I mean,
yeah.
But in the early days of the Golden and Silver Age, I mean, they probably had absolutely. Tajana Wood was fantastic, absolutely. Hungry Boy, but in the old days, they probably had like staffs of people. The Eisner Eiger workshops, things like, the sweatshops as they call them, and some of these other companies had a lot of uncredited colorists, probably letterers too. In fact, credit boxes really didn't become much of a thing. I mean, they have maybe till Stan. I mean, they did
credit.
No, I'm kidding. They had credit boxes before him, but I mean,
yeah.
But I'm just saying. He did revolutionize the credit box, though. I remember Steve Oliff. As Wagner says, I remember when Steve Oliff and Oleo Optics started doing computer coloring. Yeah, and now it's all computer this and computer that. Now they used to have these, like, the printers had these fancy laser separated colors. I remember when the Baxter format books started coming out, and then they had. This is going to drive Hungry Boy crazy because I like the Baxter books. Look great; they were great. But remember that stupid ass flexi graphic format, Hungry Boy? I got to. I'm watching for his response right here. Of course, I've telegraphed it, so he's probably going to. Do you remember flexi graphic?
What was flexi graphic? I don't remember.
It was this. It was in there. There was a bit different type of paper, somewhere in the mid '80s, I think, and it was on this. It was really garish, crappy looking. I don't know if it wasn't laser separated. I forgot what it was. A process where the comics for a while looked really garish and the colors were
very bright or
very bright. There he goes, flexi crap. I knew it would. Flexi crap. Why, Clobby? Why? I knew it. It didn't last. But flexi
was it the '90s or was it?
It was Hungry Boy, what was that, like mid 80s? I'm ballparking mid 80s, mid late 80s. For a very short time, it looked like dog shite. It was crapola, man.
And was it more expensive or cheaper? Or was it?
He said, "What did I do? I was being good today." So I apologize, dude. My apologies, official artist of Clobberin Times. I mean,
was it supposed
cheaper.
to be?
They were trying. It was really garish.
They were trying, right?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find pictures of it on.
I'm trying to find some pictures right now. Oh, you go for it. Yeah.
Let's see here. Flexi graphic. Wait, if I just put comics.
Don't put flexi crappy. That won't work. No. Yep.
Flexi graphic comics. Comics. If we can find some example of those. No, it's not what I'm looking for. It shows us old stuff.
Yeah, let's see. Types of comic book paper. DuckDuckGo. Mr. Call's listening.
No, man. See what Hungry Boy's saying.
And thank you for that comment, Hungry Boy. Read,
yeah, Terry Austin hated it.
He said coloring is hugely time consuming, whole different mindset and care needed, not to overlap hues by accident. Plus marking color codes for the printers. Yeah, and the color code is it's 4 colors. So I do a lot of desktop publishing in my day job. So you have CMYK and comics or four color press. So it's 4 colors that are mixed together. So you have to have the formula for the colors. So blues are always tough to get a good blue color. I find, and well, that's why you see a lot of redheads, gingers in comics too, with hair color and to get different hair colors. So yeah, you've got to mix all those colors. So it's just not like you pick, here's the hue I want. You've got to have a formula for it.
Fucking man, I wish I could find some examples to show you. I know both. Was it Marvel and DC that did it? I think they both did. I know it's Marvel. Shit.
I found some articles with a couple of examples. I'm trying to see what they have. Like I did history of comic book printing.
Looks like shit.
Let's see if they got some examples of some different types of printing. But you got to appreciate trying to get better. The idea was to get better paper, but I almost wish the cost of comics are just so damn expensive now. I wouldn't mind a lesser paper to get the price down, or the digital is not the same price too. When you think about it, you buy digital, of course they have sales, but digital at least should be cheaper. I mean, if you buy a current Marvel book, which I won't mention anyone who does, you do.
All right, Chris Persia, have a good night, buddy.
Good night, Chris Persia. Thanks for hanging with us.
Ink saturation was a problem with some colors. Deep blue would occur. Occlude ink work. I had no idea that would trigger him that much, though. I just thought he'd go, yeah, that sucked. So I'm sorry, Bunker Boy. I know he's just kidding.
He's just kidding, yeah. It's yeah. I mean, you always wanted things to look better, but just the costs of the books are just so nuts. And you were mentioning the new Miller ash can, the price, black and white, and they're reselling. Some of the comic book shops are reselling it for $15 or $20. So yeah, you got to get the price down for kids to buy more comics. I mean, it's crazy.
Let's see here. I found an article. It says had a chance to here we go. So I said from a year and a half ago that my memory was that the flexographic printing process DC was using with some of their special project books at the time didn't do the artwork justice, and boy was I right. Everything's too bright, garish. Yeah, I remember this now. I may have found a couple of examples. Yeah, I don't know if we'll be able to see this. Let's see. Wagner remembers it. The thinner inks of flexographic dried faster, making comic book production much quicker and cheaper. Thank you. But let's see if we can. This might not be the best example of it because it was way more garish than this I remember. But let's see. See if I can go and make it bigger over there. All right. It's tough to tell this from this, but it was really, that doesn't look as bad now, but today probably, but it looked bad back then. It was really cheap looking. It was ugly. It was, obviously, it was nowhere near the refinement that it was on Baxter paper, but even in the regular newsprint books, the 4-color comics look way better.
Well, yeah, if it was cheaper from the print, and you're still buying, right? They don't care so much, unfortunately. But when did newsprint start to go out of style? And around this time, then I guess
he was pretty much gone
Late 90s,
mid 80s, maybe. They had, they used nice. They started switching to a lot different paper, in the early 80s, didn't they? Something like that.
It wasn't all the books, wasn't it? Like special books,
not all of them. It's special books, but when they went to FlexiGraph, I would have to check. I mean, it would take some checking, but it was yeah.
It was around that time.
Flexi on a freshly printed comic was garish. Yes, it's tough to tell by seeing what you're seeing here, but yeah, it's bad. It was annoying. And I'm sorry, Hungry Boy. My apologies. At least I didn't tripwire you.
Oh, Crisis on Infinite Earths #1 was printed that way.
Yes. Oh my God, that's
first
right.
Issue, and they ruined. They said they ruined the first.
It looked like dog crap. Now I remember. Let me find that. Some art from Crisis on Infinite Earths #1. I thought it was Crisis, and also that Johnny thing. Crisis on Infinite Earths #1. Or as I called it, Crisis on Impotent Earths. All right. All right. Let's find some interior art. Okay. Is that from #1 though? Well, I can't really find a good interior piece from it, but trust us, it sucked. Okay. Well, I can't really find much, but it sucked. All right. We'll just.
Yeah, maybe that's why. Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah.
Well, I do appreciate, when I first saw the Marvel Masterworks, I think the first one I bought was FF, 1 through 12. The old Masterworks that are kind of was it kind of a purple cover, if I'm remembering right? When they did, not the huge ones, but
which ones?
The Marvel Masterworks, the original one. Well, I just remember seeing the paper, I was like, oh, wow, this is so amazing to read, these old stories on this paper. Yeah, that was, and I guess they must have recolored those or corrected them or fixed them up. I'm assuming from the original scans, but that was so nice to read. Yeah, I love those original Masterworks were nice. Yeah,
I love Masterworks. I still have some all my old ones, and archives. It was a slow phase out of newsprint, like properly farmed food. And no worries, Globby Tripwire is always a broken ankle compared to this slight bruise. Who knows? It might be really nice this week.
Yeah.
Tripwire. We're getting down to the tripwire. We get we're still so far away from #1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be worse. Could be raining.
Yep. Thank you for quoting Young Frankenstein.
I use that quote a lot.
Well. I guess we could probably let everybody get out of here tonight. Yeah. What do you think? Yeah, I mean, unless anybody's got anything else, no reason to keep you all too late, my friends. Or let you just start out to the week. Of course, we're building up to Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, I got.
This is kind of
cooking a whole pig this weekend.
Oh yeah, not going anywhere. You're selling.
Yeah, well, come on up. I got a whole pig for you.
I'll be there. Wait on. I'm on my way.
Start driving.
What? This was all up until about 2018. This was my big vacation week. I do like the recolored Simonson Thor omnibus. I bet that's nice. It wasn't inexpensive, but nice. I'd love it. So every time up until about 2016, for almost 22, 23 years straight, with one exception due to a hurricane in 2008, I took this weekend, upcoming weekend, this Labor Day weekend, to go to Dragon Con in Atlanta. And it feels, now that it's been since 2016, since I've gone, it still feels weird not going for some strange reason. Yeah. Not that and here's the thing, I bitched about it every time I got there. I'm like, why did I do this again?
And then you have a great time, right?
Yeah. No, not well. That's the thing. Sometimes I didn't really have a great time.
Well, you probably had fun hanging out with people, right? Yeah.
So I had a vacation since 2016, so it was my getaway. It was all I could afford, all I could handle, and I was like, okay. Like I said, and I've told you many times how in 2015 was the best because I rented a car. some years I would just go rent a car because I don't want to bring my truck or whatever. Good night, JD Lewis. Take care, man.
Take care, JD.
Take care, Brian. Appreciate you. Good seeing you.
Thank you, Brian. Yep, appreciate that. Yep.
In 2015, I rented a car, and like I told you, I drove up to Metropolis, Illinois, go to the Superman Museum. I had some buddies of mine who happened to be going to some other event that weekend. That week, I took that whole week before leading up to Labor Day, and man, I want to go back to that Superman Museum. I'd love to, but we all hung out at the Superman Museum that Saturday. It was like a Tuesday maybe, but it was open, you know. And there's nothing at Metropolis. It is no Metropolis. It is not. It's the opposite of Metropolis. It's not even a Smallville.
It's a Minneapolis.
It's a Smallville, a smaller than Smallville. Yep. It does have a weird comic shop though. It's out on this road that passes by like this highway. It's not even an interstate. And then it's got a TARDIS outside of it. That's how you kind of notice it. It's got some nice comic art on the out of it. It's like an outside building, and lone building. And so you go, well, that's got to be pretty cool. They got green arrow painted on the side. This is nice. And you go in there. No offense, but not really that much in there. Nevertheless, and you go downtown, you can almost miss it if you pass it. And you go downtown where the Superman Museum is, and there's not much downtown. I stayed at the Harris Casino because I got a cheap. Because it was a casino, it's a nice room, but it was cheap, you know. So the casino resort was nice. The room was really nice. And so that night before, and anyway, but it was, boy, was it boiling hot too. But I loved that museum. And then, of course, after that, I drove 10 hours to Canton, Ohio to go visit the NFL Hall of Fame, which I've always wanted to do. At least I got to do that once.
Yep.
Then rode back down to Atlanta like 12 hours or whatever that was, and went to Dragon Con the rest of that weekend. But you know the weird thing about all that? I did have some things I still miss about Dragon Con. Going to hang out with Michael and Melinda, of course, because we're in 2011 when I met them. When I met them in 2011, I was saying shit like, man, that's it. Club was mad at me because I didn't want to go do something. I was bored. I went and sat I always have this spot at the Marriott where I go and sit just to people watch all the costumes and get bored for a couple hours, just sit there, a bench. On that bench, I met Melinda, but that was going to be my last Dragon Con. Good night, Classic Comics.
Take care, Classic.
You know, again, I met them, and so I started hanging out. And I went to go so I could see them and hang with them, so that was great. But there was one other thing. This is going to sound so stupid, but you're the one who's always killing me with food. There was one thing I kind of miss about it other than seeing them. Because I don't miss the crowds. I kind of miss I don't even miss the stupid dealers room. It's all right. Because they don't have bootleg DVDs, it's not as much fun anymore. I don't miss all the walking and all the crowds. Oh, my God, the crowds. I don't miss much of it. I miss kind of watching the costumes. It's kind of fun. But I miss seeing Michael and Melinda. I don't think they even go anymore. They live there. But because Dragon Con is run by Wokoso idiots. But the food court at the mall, it's been like 6 different hotels and a big old gigantic convention center type thing.
Yep.
And there's these connecting office buildings that have these food courts, like, you know, they're nice. Man, there was 2 different places I ate, other than when we would go out, hit the comic shops and go somewhere else. During con time, I would hit it like 2 or 3 times a week for the, you know, because it started on Thursday and we did it on Labor Day on Mondays. So I had to eat there at least 3 or 4 times. This place called, oh boy, Farmer's Basket. Is it Farmer's Basket? This lovely Korean family owned it, but they had different types of, mashed potatoes and macaroni and cheese and different types of chicken. I got the sweet. I always got the sweet and sour chicken thing. Man, it was the best. Oh my God, I can taste it right now. It was so freaking good. I wanted it. Man, I didn't go anywhere else in the food court but there, except one other place when I would go for breakfast. When we get there in the morning, they had the best breakfast bar. Too ridiculously expensive because it charged by the pound. Man, It was loaded with every kind of breakfast thing you could imagine, man. I loved it. That was more fun. That was kind of a highlight.
Well, yeah, so I was trying to kill everyone with all my food last night from the comic book my Sunday Night Geekery, going, from comic book toys to food.
Yep. Well, that's what you got to do sometimes. But anyway, I miss all that. Well, look, everyone, I want to thank you all. I hope you have a fantastic rest of the week. Let's do a little bit of a show note here. I don't know what I'm going to do Wednesday night yet, but it'll be Kirby. It'll be the last of the Kirby shows, and then we'll start Star Trek month on the Clubhouse on Thursday night, and then Saturday night Star Trek Returns with 4 more episodes on Ape Space 9, same Trek time, same Clubby channel. And of course, what you got going on? Anything to tell anybody about?
Well, tomorrow night I got to watch Blazing Saddles. So again,
oh yeah, Nick's show. That's right.
Yep. So I got to clip Blazing Saddles. I guess I'm gonna be erasing some words as I clip them, maybe, or.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So the rule is everyone on the panel was supposed to eat 4 cans of baked beans before the panel. I got to make sure I enforce that. And
what? Are you nuts?
Yeah, I'm joking.
Okay. I know. Wow.
If you know the movie, obviously, yeah. So we're gonna have. Hopefully, I gotta try to find some fun, quick short clips I can play tonight that won't get Nick nuked. And I'm looking forward to that panel tomorrow night, because that could be a dangerous one, Blazing Saddles. But that's an all time classic Mel Brooks movie. So if you haven't watched Blazing Saddles, watch it tonight, and then or before the show.
I have a Blu-ray. I need the Claude gave me a while back. I haven't watched yet. Maybe I should go watch it. I'm not gonna be on the panel, but I should go watch it anyway.
Yeah, it's just so good. So we got that going, and then of course, obviously, Sunday Night Geekery will be happening, and then I'm cooking a whole pig this weekend. Maybe I'll do a video on.
He's inviting you all, the entire planet.
Yeah, everyone come up, the whole planet. Yeah, to cook the whole pig. So. Looking forward to that. We do that Labor Day at our we have like a swim club, so we do that to end the season. So looking forward to that. So should be a lot of fun. So it was a great celebration this weekend. So hope everyone has everyone. I don't know. Does Canada have Labor Day too this weekend? Or
I do not know that. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah,
maybe not. I don't think so. I think that's an American thing. I don't know, but maybe so.
Yeah.
I'd have to ask J-Man.
Well, you guys in Canada celebrate too.
I'll have to ask Raquel. So anyway, thank you all for being here tonight. The mods, everybody, you're all fantastic. We'll shout everybody out. Like we already did at the beginning, and I've shouted everyone out before. I'm going to let everybody get out of here now. So I want to thank the great Mark D with the C for joining me. Thank you, bud. I appreciate you.
It's been great. Thank you. Yep.
Thank you all for being, and a big special shout out. I don't know if you're still hearing it, but 6, we love you. I'm sorry you're having a rough night out there, but Clobby loves you, and the group loves you. And I hope, I thank you all. Andy Masterson, thanks for popping in, buddy. And thank you, Hungry Boy, Gwagnar, Dave, D-Bud, Time Lord Spock, as in the captain, Larry, Phantom Outsider, Metamusness, Steve Mitchum, Garrett K, Chris Persia, D-Bud Martin, Classic Comics, all of you who hung out with us, Larry, Dave Rayburn, my cousin Brian, I think I said Brian, Gwagnar, all of you, man, appreciate you all. And I promised I would let you all go, so I'm going to let you go. But anyone I missed, thank you all. Anyone who lurked, anyone who's listening on a download, appreciate you so much. And we'll play us out with these important messages, and then we will get out of here. Good night, everybody, and have a pleasant tomorrow. And a big special shout out to the great Cardinal Sin as well. And everyone else, thank you so much, everybody. Have a great one.